Right, I'm rolling.
Perfect. Council President, thank you so much for taking some time to do this today. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Now let's start with this ICE incident in Providence. What's your initial reaction to what happened here?
So for me, there's actually two incidences over the last 2 weeks where we have seen firsthand footage of police breaking city policy and violating city law. Police are meant to keep us safe, right? Their role is to keep our community safe. When we see behavior like this, it endangers our community and it creates real mistrust in the public. So to your question, the incident that involved ICE. ICE was engaging in a high-speed chase through our city streets. In doing so, they crashed. Providence, at which point Providence Police was called in. According to our own police department policy, according to city law, what should have happened was that police engaged in the crash and then moved on. ICE was acting strictly on an administrative warrant for immigration enforcement only. Instead, we see footage of Providence Police talking repeatedly to ICE agents, repeatedly saying, "How can we help you?" Putting themselves in between ICE and the community in violation of city law, in violation of city policy.
Let's talk more about that footage. We've seen a couple different angles, including body camera footage from police of this incident. What are your takeaways from that?
My takeaways are that we have really clear outlines in law that say police are not to assist ICE in immigration enforcement activity. And when you are engaging with ICE, there's 12 minutes muted in the video where police are just standing there talking to ICE. We can't hear the sound. I can't imagine what you have to talk about for 12 minutes. That's not assisting in ICE activity. We have direct footage of police saying to ICE, "How can we help you?" Again, that is in violation of city law. It's in violation of department policy. And, in this case, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to listen to my word for it or any other city official. That footage is out there for the public and the public should watch it.
And the police chief has come out and said that, in his eyes, Providence Police did not help ICE in their federal enforcement action. In your eyes, it sounds like the body camera video that you've seen shows a different story.
Yes, entirely. So I have the utmost respect for Colonel Perez. What I see in that video is police assisting ICE in immigration enforcement. City law is clear. City law says that's not the role of Providence Police. It goes as far as to stipulate, even rearranging traffic, setting up traffic cones around an immigration enforcement activity is against the law. So the City Council will be engaging and looking about how to make that law, continue to expand on that law, but it's already very clear.
Would you say that the chief in Providence Police is wrong in making the assertion that they did not support ICE?
I'm saying that I saw cooperation and support.
Now, when you have an incident like this, there was a car crash. Providence Police frequently do respond to car crashes in the city. What do you think needed to be done differently in your eyes?
So I think the police were right in responding to the car crash, of course. I think they should have responded to the car crash, dealt with the car crash, and then moved on with their day to other calls.
In terms of this specific ICE enforcement, ICE has said this was an MS-13 gang member, someone who's self-admitted. Why take action around a circumstance with someone like this? So
ICE has at its disposal the ability to have a criminal warrant, a judicial warrant, to do criminal enforcement. That is not what ICE did in this case. So I'm not here to verify or deny any ICE claims. I'm saying that our city law is clear. Police can't cooperate with ICE on immigration enforcement activities that are administrative warrant. That is the action that we have. And so, to move beyond this, we need a thorough, independent investigation. I've already said that council is going to look at the laws on the books and making sure that we're moving forward. But we really need a never again moment. I also want to take some time and talk about what happened on July 4th. that was actually the first incident, but we saw young people having an evening with family and friends. Police come at every turn in the footage that we have available. Police escalate the incident. So we see footage, young people are asking questions about why the police are saying what they're saying, but they are complying. They're going back into the house as the police are asking them to go back into the house. As a young woman is walking back into the house, she is violently pushed. A young man is dragged out of the house, put in a chokehold, thrown on the ground, punched 5 times. Now both of those young people and a third were arrested and charged. I cannot make sense of what law they could have possibly broken. If questioning the police is against the law, we have really broad constitutional problems. And so this is another case where those families should not be going through what they're going through right now. There are ways to handle whatever complaints the police were responding to that don't involve increasing escalation as we saw.
When you're watching this video and you're taking it in for the first time, what are you thinking?
The first time I saw that footage, particularly the moment where the young woman who is walking back into her house is violently pushed, I gotta say, my brain froze. That push and the subsequent action on the young man have stayed with me since that footage was released. I think it's a violation. I think it's a violation of those young people's rights. I think it's a violation of community trust. And I think it's a violation of department policy.
So another situation where, in your eyes, Providence Police, you're saying that they should have handled it differently. How do you think that they should have gone about this?
So we really need an accounting, like a thorough investigation with an independent authority. We need justice in that instance. So we see body footage when things go wrong, body cam footage when things go wrong. I wasn't there before for any other incident. I can say there are de-escalation tactics that are available to the police, they're trained in the department. We need to emphasize those. But really, we need a thorough investigation of what happened there. We need accountability and we need justice.
So we have these 2 incidents, both in a close span of time to each other, involving Providence Police. Providence Police have spoken about both incidents. Where do we go from here?
I think it's really clear. I think that the community, all of our residents, need a never again moment so that we can build trust and faith between the neighbors, our city government. We're going to look at city law and see where it needs to be strengthened or expanded. But really, we need an investigation into both of these incidents. We need them to be investigated fairly, honestly, and with accountability in mind so that we can be sure that this never happens again.
What's the city council's role in this?
Well, we are the legislative branch of government. So when it comes to setting city policy, city law, that's why we are doing that first. We also pass and support funding and budgeting. And so we just vetted a city budget. We just changed a city budget. Some of that is resources to public safety, and that's a deep conversation that we will continue to have.
Have you spoken personally to Providence Police, to the chief, about these incidents?
So, like I said, I have the utmost respect for the chief and Commander O'Hara. He has made himself available to counselors to have this conversation, as far as I'm aware, to community members. They released footage from body cams as soon as we asked, which has not been the case in previous instances. Those are the actions that help us move forward and help us rebuild trust and figure out what the path is.
And in the conversation that we've had, you've used the word violations, I believe. Talk more about that and just the specific violations of these incidents that you've seen.
Yeah, so there is, when it comes to the ICE incident, there's specific city law that prohibits Providence Police from assisting in immigration-only enforcement. We violated that law. Providence Police violated that law in that moment when they keep saying repeatedly, how can we help you, how can we help you? when they put themselves between the community and ICE, when they stay and do anything except for deal with the traffic crash. In the other case, I think that we're talking about de-escalation policies of the Providence Police Department. And I think we're talking about violations on a more constitutional right level of the young people. If you can be arrested for saying to the police, in whatever tone, right, like, oh, you know, why are you saying what you're saying, then I think that makes us all less safe.
Have you had a chance to speak or connect with some of the young people involved?
I've spoken to their family members, yes.
And what were those conversations like?
I mostly wanted to just share support because I think it's a very chaotic time when your family gets thrown into the spotlight on a contentious issue. So I mostly just wanted to offer support and let them know that if they want to engage in a longer conversation, they are welcome to.
And have you had a chance to speak to any of the officers directly involved that maybe we see in that body camera video from the ICE incident?
No, not yet. I want to respect the kind of chain of command here. So as a elected official, I want to deal with city leadership on this issue. I don't want to get in the middle of what needs to be both an internal and external investigation, although I would welcome the opportunity to speak with the officers involved.
No, I looked at the letters that you had sent out. In the letter regarding the ICE incident, we mentioned Providence resident as a descriptor. Other city councilors have used the word neighbor. ICE has called this person an MS-13 gang member involved in this incident. Why the difference in language?
Well, both of those letters were sent before we saw any footage or knew anything else. But the difference in language is clear, right? Because we are the Providence City Council. We represent the people of Providence. ICE works for President Trump. I do not know, and I'm not in the position to claim the veracity of a statement from ICE. I am in the position to say, if ICE wanted to do a criminal enforcement, they have the tools at their disposal. They chose not to. They were working on an administrative warrant. The police acted improperly given that. Here's the thing. If we're going to say that you can break the law if someone's done whatever they've done or have claimed to have done, then what stops us from, what keeps us safe in our constitutional rights, right? Like that's the real line. There's due process. There's a way to handle criminal enforcement. They didn't choose that way in this case.
Now, Providence Police has had some time come out with some statements, some on-camera statements about both of these incidents. Do you agree with the way they're handling these situations now in the aftermath? So,
one, I appreciate that they are being extremely responsive. I think that's important. Two, I see violations in policy and law, and I am looking for leadership in the police to enter that conversation fully with us.
What steps would you need to see them take moving forward?
So we will move forward with a third-party investigation, hopefully. But the steps that I need the police to take, right? They are conducting internal investigations. We need the results of those vetted publicly, and we need real accountability and justice in both of these cases.
And you have mentioned transparency both in the letters and talks about transparency and topics adjacent in just our conversation. How important is that in a community, any community, but also Providence?
I think that's the way that people build trust in public institutions. I think we are at a moment in time when people don't believe what's being said on social media from an elected official, from a government agency. When trust is eroded like that, it is harder to engage people in decisions. It is harder for people to come and report crimes when they happen because they don't think anything's going to change. They don't think anything's going to happen. We need people to be engaged in our city government to both make good decisions and also to make our community safer.
Is there anything that you think the city council can do differently when we're, as a community, responding to situations like these two incidents?
So I think it is our job to speak up when we see something happening that shouldn't be happening. In this case, we see clear violations of both department policy and city law, and here I am speaking up. I think that we do want to figure out ways to strengthen laws that protect all of us, make us more safe, create trust between the police and the community.
Is there anything else you'd like people to know today?
No, thank you very much for the time.
Thank you for taking a moment.
Yes.